Okay. So you've already heard from Colin there. So Colin is our technical trainer, and he's been with us for 5 years now. Colin carries out all of our webinar and our training seminars, and also helps us with our academy. Colin is also on the HIP as one of our judges with Glenn, who's also a judge on HIP. So works really closely with the colleges, lecturers and apprentices for the next generation of installers. Colin himself has been 35 years on the tools and actually was a sole trader himself as a heating engineer. So has lots of hands-on experience and some kind of practical advice of how to support the homeowner and how to get the most out of your visits. Then we've got Tom. Tom's our UK sales director. So Tom's been in the industry for 15 years. He looks baby-faced there, but believe me, he is a lot older than he looks. And Tom started out as a service engineer, went on into sales, and actually has been with ADEY for 1.5 years as our sales director. So heads up all of our internal sales team, all of our external sales teams that are on the road, and also the teams that look after our contract customers. And then there's myself. So I've been with ADEY for 1 year as the marketing director, and my previous experience has been 20 years in many sectors, 10 of which really has been the trade and construction industry. So supporting our network of tradespeople and also marketing directly to consumers. So a whole host of experience there, and hopefully that means that we can come with some ideas for you to kind of how to get your business return ready. So we've had many discussions really about the current situation, about how it's impacted on our sector, how it's impacted us as individuals and our own family businesses. So really what we wanted to do was to take that to the next stage. We know after hearing from Boris yesterday, and I don't want to really open up that conversation, I'm sure we've all got our own views on that, but there has been lots of talk about the current situation, but really now it's talking about how to get return ready, and what sorts of things that we need to start looking at, or you could start looking at, to make sure that when we are ready to go back, or the phone starts ringing really, that you are prepared for it. So the areas that we're going to cover today are the change in consumer behaviour. So just acknowledging what it's going to be like on the other side of the fence for the homeowners themselves, what the #1 cause of boiler or heating breakdowns is at the moment, how we can help you to make that problem visible for the homeowners, and then how you could protect the nation's heating systems as they're trying to prolong the life of their heating systems and not have to have that extra expenditure on replacement systems, which is likely to happen. Then we're going to have Tom helping us to understand a little bit more about service plans and how that could add to generating revenue for your business, but also supporting the consumers in being able to finance the next service that they've got planned next year. A bit of guidance whilst on site. Now, you guys are already fully aware of this, but it's worth just reminding yourselves of what to do before you get on site, and also how you can communicate with your customers. And then we're just going to end up with something, a little gift to you at the end as well. So taking a look at kind of what the world looks like at the moment. YouGov conducts 6,000 interviews each month with homeowners, residents, and they're asked to respond to questions which are about household finances, property prices, job security, business activity. And interestingly enough, as you can see from this graph, this has changed quite substantially since the COVID happened, unsurprisingly. So 86% of all those asked, so 6,000 people that were asked, believe that the UK is heading into some form of depression or recession. So not wanting to start your weeks with doom and gloom, but the reality is that consumer confidence really is now quite a low level. Any score basically on that's under 100 means that the consumers are over 100, sorry, more confident than unconfident. But Britain really has slipped into negative territory as the government struggles to get to grips with the pandemic. So consumers are really tightening their purses, and with potentials loss, potentially less disposable income. Now, this is no surprise to yourselves, but it's worth just understanding that the consumers themselves, all of us as homeowners, as we have queries about job security in the future, will be looking to change our behaviour, especially in terms of spending on areas where we are reluctant to. So within the same survey, they also ask homeowners the important issues that's facing the country. And this is again an interesting one from the 17th of February until just recently. You can see how the graph has changed substantially. Again, this is no surprise. So the top line is health. So the number one priority for people is their health and well-being. Next on there, 57%, is the economy. So the next thing that people are fearing or they're facing as a troublesome opportunity is the economy. And interestingly, the Brexit has gone right down in terms of our priorities right now. And consumers are less focused on that and obviously more focused on the two priorities, their health and the economy itself. So how does that affect us in terms of going into the consumers' homes, and what is it that they're actually focused or that they're caring about right now? So obviously safety and staying safe is the number one priority. Coronavirus pandemic has fundamentally changed really the way in which we live at the moment, and I'm not one that feels that this will be changed forever, but everybody has their own opinion. I think that at the moment it has fundamentally changed the way we live. And whilst a primary concern is health, our financial well-being is also really important, and many are worrying about paying their mortgage, their rent, and other bills. So we are aware of safety, but also we're aware of that around us. As people are spending more time in the homes, they are potentially more aware of their heating systems than ever before. They're more aware of which of their radiators potentially not getting as hot as they could be, any noises that are coming from their systems, any leaking, or anything whereby the system is making some obvious, tangible visibility that something isn't quite right. In line with that, we've experienced a number of people who have started to do DIY jobs themselves on areas that really should be left to the professionals, where they're trying to make things last, to fix them themselves, save on money. There have been some instances whereby they've tried to kind of do a cheap job on that and try and fix it themselves. But they are trying to make things last a lot longer and protect their assets. In addition to that, less people are likely to be moving home, and there's a drop in the number of mortgages, and the house market is grinding to a halt according to Nationwide. In line with that, as we are having less people within our homes, people are going to online for searching for products, searching for services, and also potentially looking for quotations online. And I did see that some of our installers are actually looking at new ways in which they can quote for something within the home remotely. And we'll talk about remote monitoring later as well. In addition to that, people are being careful with their money and not spending on necessary things, and they're potentially looking at other ways to bolster their funds. So the buy now, pay later. After the 3-month payment holidays and mortgage holidays and overdraft allowances have happened, we will be looking at new ways to save money. So this is all an important factor for us, and understanding the barriers then to when yourselves are in the home, of having to promote good practice in the home, which can sometimes see as added value products. So this results really in service maintenance and repair remaining a priority for the short-term period, as people want to prolong the life of their assets and their boiler and their heating system, and they don't want to necessarily spend out on new heating unless they absolutely have to, in which case obviously they will. But new boiler installs have dropped dramatically, and it's not seen that that's going to be picking up immediately. That means also that it's going to be more challenging to sell additional services such as a system flush, chemical treatment or a filter, which may be seen as an added value product. However, if fitted to the system, could save money long term. So it's interesting to have a look at some facts around the heating system. So there's about 21.5 million boilers, condensing boilers in the UK at the moment. You may not be aware that 15% of boilers break down in the first year, and 60% of these are actually due to sludge, the magnetite in the system. This raises to 80% in the first 5 years. So in the first 5 years, the number of boilers breaking down due to sludge is actually 80%. We work with independent research alongside the boiler manufacturers and installers to gain these figures. This is all through independent research through ADEY. 6 million service call-outs a year, which is substantial, and it's actually costing the UK over £700 million per year in unexpected bills, all down to this nasty black stuff that's in the system. So sludge really is the #1 cause of boiler breakdown. A challenge is really, how do you make that visible? It is an invisible problem. It's something that people can't see, and that they don't understand necessarily the value of treating this within the home until something has gone wrong. So I'll just hand over to Colin, who's going to talk through how potentially you could make the problem visible.
Right. Thank you, Claire. Wow. Some really startling facts there on sludge that show if we're smart guys, there's a massive opportunity for us out there. I think Chris ADEY, who pioneered the magnetic filtration to the heating industry, I'm sure Chris was unaware of how he would change the heating industry by grabbing his opportunities. So let's get that opportunity and use it wisely. And let's get on top of a few things. So magnetite, like Claire said, the invisible problem as such. But what is magnetite? Magnetite is commonly referred to as, well, many things, it's on the carpet, as sludge, black iron oxide. But basically, it's comprised of dissolved and rusted metals. And I think we're all aware that a combination of brass, steel, copper, which are all in our heating systems, with oxygenated water, we're going to have issues fairly quickly. If the water's untreated, we will have problems. So we have to take every available opportunity to advise customers on the best ways to stop sludge. And as Claire alluded to, 700 million is spent on unexpected boiler breakdowns, and 80% of breakdowns in the first 5 years are due to sludge. Those are big numbers, guys, really big numbers. So we need to see if we can sort that out. And as engineers, I believe with the support of ADEY, we can become solution solvers. And I think for me, tackling sludge for the good of our, homeowners, our landlords, our social housing teams, our new build, it's absolutely paramount that we support all of those and get on top of it. So at ADEY, we've got a few things I'd like to show you, if I may. The demonstration toolkit. Now, the demonstration toolkit is basically, we're trying to make the challenge of magnetite, trying to get the customer to understand. And of course, with magnetite, out of sight, out of mind comes to thoughts. And of course, until that radiator suddenly starts to feel a little bit cooler, or the hot water's playing up, motorized valves not switching over, all of a sudden we're unaware that that sludge is causing those issues. And maybe we put it to the back. So what we've done at ADEY, we've brought together this demonstration kit, and I just want to show you things that may help you to get over to the customer, some visuals. And I think a lot of the customers, when they see it, will understand it a little bit better. So first of all, we have the demo jar. And the demo jar, as we all know, wonderful visual bit of kit. So take your magnet out, give it a bit of a shake. Looks pretty unhealthy to me. Magnetite is very small, 8 microns. And if you suddenly see there, instantly that magnetite's been gripped and grabbed by the magnet within the demo jar. How visual is that? Fantastic. So all of a sudden the customer said, I don't want them filters on my system. Suddenly you can show how, if you've got that sort of water quality, that magnetite's being drawn to that area, into the filter for that continual protection. Tremendous. So the demo jar. Again, just remember magnetite is very, very small, 8 microns. So we have to get the customers aware of how small it is as well. So we also have the little demo pots here. I've just got to show you them here. Here we are, there's 2 here. So first of all, the first one you have here, I'll give it a little bit of a shake. You can see, I do apologise, probably see there's a few bits and pieces going on there. There's a little nail in there, and corrosion is rapid. I can assure you that, because it happened. This has happened from yesterday. And we can see straight away how corrosion, water, untreated in the steel radiator, suddenly it's happening already, straight away. And in this other pot here, I've got a nail that actually has inhibitor in, and obviously looks good. Now, I just wanted to show you something. Again, you don't have to show this to a customer, but I wanted to show you, obviously, because we also have ADEY quick test sticks available to us. And we have 50 in a pot here, 50 sticks, and these sticks are very, very good at, obviously, one way in which ADEY can find out if there's inhibitor, correct amount of inhibitor in the system. So remember that first little pot we said looks a bit worse for wear. But I just dip that into there, shake that off there. On the end of our little water test sticks, it's a bit difficult to see, probably, but you can see there's a color chart, and we can see down at the bottom there, there's not a lot happening on the end of that stick there. So that shows me that in that system, inhibitor is not there. It's not to the correct volumes. So I now need to go down and sort that out, go to the van. By the way, just very quickly, I hope all of you cleaned your vans out. I should be after all of you. Let's just have a little look at this one. So this is one of, and I do hope this is right, because I've taken this out of my own system. I'm just going to drop that into there. Now, all of a sudden, you can see the yellow on there. So you can now see the inhibitor level within the system of the customer's house is spot on. How reassuring is that for the customer? But we should be doing this testing all the time, guys. Okay, so quick test sticks are available also. And we also have our MagnaClean rapid test sticks. There we are, little white stick there. So in the end, there is a magnet there. Now, these are absolutely ideal for quite a bit of testing. You could take a sample of water from within the system of the customer, obviously let the dead leg run out a little bit, and then in a bowl, stir it around and put the white stick in there, and you can soon see if you get any particles come on the end of the stick. Your customer can see, whoa, what's going on there? Remember we said how small magnetite is. That will soon pick up any metallic particles. Also ideal for when we're doing the MagnaCleanse process. How long are we flushing for, guys? Going to be asking you that a little bit later on. When the water's coming out on our cold flush, we run the water over our white stick here to make sure that we're not got any particles in that system. We've allowed that system to be flushed with clean, fresh water. These rapid test sticks, wonderful bits of kit as well. So all of a sudden, our demonstration kits have given us a bit of clarity to what's going on in the systems. We also have our leaflet. Again, as shown there, you can see with some figures in there, which again help us to put forward to the customer to understand a little bit more. And I think for me, currently, I know when anything's popped through the door, once it's been wiped down, I have to say, I'm reading stuff that's coming through the door. Maybe a leaflet campaign is the way forward. It's just something else to build and get the business going. If I can read it quietly while I'm having a mug of tea, I might just think about giving you a ring. Who knows? Anyway, so there we are. We can see that demonstration kit is obviously very useful. And one of the things that demonstration kit does is it allows us now to start thinking about how can we help the customer, how can we extend the life of the heating system. And to be honest, guys, the best way is to use ADEY's best practice, the 6 steps. We carry out the 6 steps in training every week, but I want you to be aware, if we follow these steps, we can look and help the customer system keep running. Remember what Claire said about that expense? Maybe we can keep it ticking over. Maybe we can get that board to last a bit longer. So first things first, cleaning the system. Well, ADEY have 3 cleaners. First of all, we've got a range of chemicals full stop, but we've also got 3 cleaners, 3 different cleaners. Are you aware of what those cleaners can do for you? 28 days MC3 Plus can be left in for. MC5, which is used in the MagnaCleanse cleanse process, 7 days. But we also have an MC40 for lime scale and bits and pieces there, 4 hours. Big variance on the times there, guys. Understanding. So the cleaning process that we offer in the customer. Yes, we can get in there and try and sort that out for you, sir, madam. Magna cleanse process, not rocket science. Again, something I've done for many years, very passionate about it. A part of our training process in the afternoon after lunch is to get that Magna cleanse process so you guys understand how it works. And it's a process. It's not just a case of sticking out. You need to make sure your filter's on the return, and you need to make sure the process is carried out thoroughly. The hot flush, half-filled radiators, Viber cleaning, all that. So the Magna cleanse is another way we can hopefully maybe offer a process to a customer, get that system back into a good working order. Magna clean, the filters themselves, well, a range of filters obviously in the system there that ADEY have available, from the Micro 2 right the way through to our light commercial, right up to commercial, a full range of filters. But we also have the Pro 3. The Pro 3, and suddenly we can monitor the system as well. So that's certainly something we're going to have a little look at again in a moment. Protecting the system, if we can get out the customer on making sure, we just seen that how important to check our inhibitor levels in the system, just by my little demonstration there. You know, it's not rocket science, guys. If there's not enough inhibitor, I hope you're all down to the van. You've got the van loaded with MC1 Plus in a bottle, in a repeat version. It's a repeat version. We can inject the chemical in. There's no reason why we can't get inhibitor into the system nice and quickly and efficiently for the customer. Water testing, again, the 5th procedure. Water testing at the end of the boiler change, at the end of the flushing. What are we doing? Are we checking how are we leaving that system? How can I make sure? So if you send a sample of your mains water in, which obviously filled the system, with a sample of your heating water that's got the correct amount of inhibitor in, we at our lab in Sittingbourne can send you a UCAS approved certificate for that quality water. But what I will say to you now, if it's not right, you will get recommendations. So you've got to follow the procedures of your Magna cleanse to your process. We're here to help. We can make sure they pass that certificate, and that will go nicely with the customer for that reassurance. And maintain. I hope all of you are, when you're servicing the boiler, you're servicing the filter. You know, that's absolute key, guys. Don't look at it. Let's get the lid off. Let's have a look what's going on there. Let's check the inhibitor. Let's check the seal. Let's check the magnet. And let's put that filter back to 100% capture rate for the customer. Again, extending the life of the heating system. Maintenance is absolutely key. So you can see there, we've got quite a few areas there of best practice that if you follow that, you shouldn't have too many problems. And you know, we go through all the procedures at training as well. So please join us again if you're unsure about any part of that best practice process. So let's move on slightly now to the Pro 3 filter, if we may, Claire. I was just thinking that we've seen there, and on the clean, I just thought, sorry, on the Magna clean, all of a sudden, remember the range of filters, we've now got the Pro 3 Sense. Now the Pro 3 Sense is a tremendous bit of kit. Obviously, tried and tested qualities of the Pro 2, but now we've got the facility, and again, this is live, this is off my own system. At the front here, we've now got the facility to monitor the system, okay? And I think that's tremendous. The fact I can now see what the magnetite levels within the system. Thank God that's not gone to 1 green dot, because that's in my own house. If it went across to further levels, I would be in the problems. But yeah, the Pro 3, it goes on the system, it monitors the system. Knowing what's going on in the system with actually not being there, surely has got to be a massive advantage to be able to offer to a customer a way of monitoring. You know, they've just had maybe an expense or a sign of something going on. You've got that filter fitted, and it's maybe the ideal opportunity for a Pro 3 to go in there and then offering that service while keeping an eye on the system to make sure that magnetite level doesn't rise. If magnetite level is rising in a system, there's something causing that, guys. You know, when we take our filter out and we see that magnetite on our core, we should be looking at and thinking, what's caused that? What's going on here? You know, and that's what gives us that opportunity as engineers to look after our customers. And I believe the Pro 3 Sense is going to give us a massive opportunity to monitor the system and keep an eye on what's going on.
I think another good one that's relevant at the moment, Colin, is vulnerable customers. So, you know, those who have potentially elderly parents, or they're vulnerable themselves, you know, especially in these times, in this climate, it's a great way to remotely monitor something before it happens and ensure that they can be protected before the boiler breakdown. That's the thing as a customer that I would want to know is, Is my engineer keeping an eye on my system so that I don't have to have that expense of a boiler breakdown?
Absolutely, Claire. I think really good point. I think for me, this has highlighted, you know, how we're missing our family and friends, and maybe one or two vulnerable friends. This gives an opportunity that to anybody who lives up the other end of the country, and we all know what our families are like. They don't tell you when something's going wrong, but suddenly I've picked up that the Maxite levels have risen, and all of a sudden you ring up mother to find out what's going on, and next thing you know, she tells you she's knocked the radiator valve. But don't worry, Cole, I topped it up like you showed me to. And that hasn't addressed the situation, has it? You know, that we know that there's an issue going on, and that's instantly said, right, we need to sort that out straight away and get an engineer in to put that right. So obviously Scott there has been supporting us in understanding the Pro 3 and using the Pro 3 daily with his customers, and the monitoring side has given customers a lot of comfort, and the fact that peace of mind. And Claire, I think that's going back to what you just said there. Peace of mind is really key to that. So I would like to just at this point maybe just bring Tom in, if we may, Tom. Obviously the Pro 3 with its facility to monitor. Obviously the levels, I get a reading back, Tom, and I can then assess what I need to do with that. But how can I take the Pro 3 forward, Tom? It sounds like the Pro 3 makes really good business sense. So how can I drive it forward, Tom? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, well, thank you, Colin. Really good insight. So yeah, as Colin said there, we're now going to take you through and have a look at how we can really future-proof your business with servicing and monitoring plans. But I think it's worth saying that we really do understand the thought of creating your own service plans is a daunting prospect. So Colin and I now are going to walk you through how we ADEY can support you in your business with the idea of service plans. So what are the facts? They're currently live, as Claire alluded to. There's 21.5 million boilers out there in the UK, and there's 9 million live home care style cover packages. So that really gives you an understanding or an idea of how huge the demand out there is from our homeowners to protect the home. But we do know that a lot of these home care plans and home cover plans are covered by the real large installer base. But it's really important to note that there's a huge demand out there for us as homeowners to protect our home. Really interesting stat that came in with the research we've done recently is small and medium-sized businesses. An average of 74% of their working week is spent on service, maintenance, and repair work, and over 6 million service calls are done every year. And one thing that is huge, and as Colin alluded to about the Pro 3 and all of the conversations that we have within ADEY and within the training division is about education and that behavioural change. And we know that change is going to come with some challenges. As it states there is 7.8 million condensing combination boilers currently live in the UK out of that 22 million that haven't got any water treatment, any filter or any chemicals. So I think the overview of this slide is there's a huge demand for service plans, and as we've all seen as consumers over the past number of years, that we are all paying for more products and services via monthly recurring revenues, things like Netflix and Apple Music, and more latterly, certainly for myself, I've signed up while we've been in lockdown to Harry's Razors. So we've seen that consumer drive into more and more, and that's entering our world into the home with home solutions, and the fact that we've got smart controls, and the fact that us as homeowners want to be able to monitor our homes, and we truly believe now with the Pro 3 we can now monitor the health of your heating system. So with that in mind, alongside obviously the Pro 3 and our future sensing products, we can now look to work together with you guys to create bespoke service and maintenance plans. So why would you want to offer service and maintenance plans? As it states there, keeping hold of your customers all year round. It's a fantastic way to keep hold of your customers. and be the foundation, the genuine foundation for the growth. Go back to the stat that we saw earlier, that 74% of your guys' time is spent servicing and maintaining this kind of work. The retention of your customers is number one, paramount. As it states there as well, the regular income, even in quieter times. So we've all seen the hardship that is challenging the UK and obviously the world currently. With service plans, with monitoring plans, that allows us to, yes, we don't get the large hit of servicing money at one fee during the summer, but I think if you see the examples of, and I'm just going to elaborate on these examples in a minute, if you see the examples there where if we've got this regular monthly revenue generating through our business, that can give us consistency, and actually then alongside our premium offering with a care plan, we can actually increase our revenue and drive business that way. So just a couple of examples at this point. The one at $7.99, so that is the annual service. Now this idea is moving on at pace, and think of a world where you've got the annual service only, but I've also whilst we've been thinking about these examples, is could you then charge $8.99 or $9.99 a month, where you do the annual service, but then you also, as Colin alluded to, with the test sticks, that you test the inhibitor level and then build into your service plan that you would top up the engine oil, the analogy that's always the best way to talk about what the chemicals can do to a homeowner. And again, another way to increase that revenue. And linking back into a really important point about the Pro 3. The Pro 3, certainly in my experience in the industry, is the first product on the market that does true preventative maintenance. The Pro 3 helps us with the challenge that as the stats showed us earlier, that 80% of all breakdowns within the first 5 years of a boiler's life are down to sludge. Now, we're going from a mechanical product in the Pro 2, which is the best loved and our flagship product. We've added the magnetometer onto that product, and that gives us this unique opportunity to monitor the magnetite level. And really, really importantly, that a magnet has only got a certain capacity. So in them stages from service 1 to service 2 or service 3 to service 4, we've never until now had a way to monitor the health of the heating system. So that example there gives you an annual service plus smart heating monitoring. Now, again, some additional ideas around this is, yes, you could charge $9.99 per month, but you would probably do that alongside a initial fee to cover the cost of the Pro 3 from an upfront hardware point of view. But then you could get the customer on for example, a $12.99 or $13.99 a month offering, and as it says there on the right hand side, that then takes you into a world that the premium consumer offering really gives you a unique monitoring platform within your business, and it also allows you to promote additional products and services, manage your schedule, excuse me, and really importantly, go back to the 9 million home care cover plans that we currently have in the UK, with the vast majority of these looked after by the large home care providers. Alongside doing service plans, alongside the Pro 3 and the monitoring element, now we have a opportunity to go to market, to work together and to really give market leading preventative maintenance, offer you guys the reoccurring monthly revenue, and really importantly in these challenging times for everybody is to spread the cost for your homeowners over a 12-month period. So I think it's really important. It's something that we're obviously hugely passionate about at ADEY. And if you would like to get some further information, you can see the email box there. That's sales.support@ADEY for us to continue to work together on delivering service plans moving forward. Thank you. And I think I'm passing back over to Claire. You're on mute, Claire. Claire, you're on mute.
Sorry, novice. I think it's actually passing over to Colin to talk about safety on site and kind of some tips of what you can do before going out to a visit.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. Yeah, look, guys, I hope all of you, let's say, at Paramount, we keep safe. So first of all, if any of you, if you know of anyone in the household who are self-isolating, you need to be aware of that and a really good positive diagnosis. No work should be carried out unless it's an emergency, guys. Are you aware of that? I think it's really key. Find out how is everybody in the house before you even think about entering. Consider the risks, and I think the elderly. Remember what we say as we get older. We've seen the figures that the elderly, unfortunately, are the ones who are getting that higher end. And just have a little think about it. If it's 5 or 6 elderly people, have a look and think, how am I going to deal with that issue? Explain the measures. I think this is really important. Understanding what you will take care of, how you're going to conduct yourself, what you're going to be setting up, how you're going to look, because you might just suddenly turn up with a face mask on and all the rest of it. Suddenly you change your appearance. Are you the same bloke who came to the door a minute ago? There's all those sorts of things. So quite interesting. So again, and I think this bottom one here, if the occupant is very, I'm sure they want that boiler working end off, but can the occupant confident in who you are? Can they stay in another room while the work is carried out? Wipe the surfaces down and then off you go. So guide on site, again, we can see there, absolutely, washing your hands regularly. I hope all of us are doing that. I mean, it's something that we've never did enough anyway in the first place. I hope all of us have been a real positive of that. Cleaner in the van, everywhere we go, I hope. Ensure the PPE is disposed of properly. Anything you use, let's get it away. You've got your disposal covers, your shoes, your eye protectors, your gloves. It's really key we have all this gear on, guys. You've told the customer earlier that they're going to suddenly change your look, but you're going in there to carry out something that is really key. And again, I think one of the really good ones here, with permission, could we possibly ventilate the rooms, open the doors? Not everyone's going to be keen on that if they're elderly, or vulnerable, but it may be another way just to keep that air moving around in the building. Something to ask first, obviously. Giving that customer the confidence what you're doing out there. You are working smart. You are telling the customer, I'm here, don't worry, I'm going to sort it all out. Good.
Great. Thanks, Colin. So
yeah, thank you.
Just in summary there, I appreciate everybody's, this is quite a lot for us to kind of absorb and take in, but we wanted to just give you a summary of the things that we've spoken today. So consumer priorities will and have changed, and that obviously will have an impact on how people absorb the information that you're giving them, and also what a priority is for them in terms of what work they want to be carried out. So it's really important that you communicate that with the customers. Get prepared. As we heard from Boris yesterday, it was a bit of a grey area. So we're, homeowners may be unsure as to whether or not you are available. A lot of installers, in fact, I think it was something like 37% are actually still working the same way they are. It's just that the phones have stopped ringing, so they're generally doing emergency work. So communication is key. Let your customers know when you are ready and what you're prepared to do when you're going out there. So if you're going to start picking up on those servicing calls, anything that's non-emergency now, then let your customer base know that you're there and at the forefront. The worst case scenario is that they go and shop around because they didn't think that you were open for business. Sludge is the #1 cause of central heating breakdown. I think the facts speak for themselves there. So helping the consumers to extend the life of what they've already got, you need to talk about the problem that is the sludge that's in the system, and protect your customers' heating systems and also their pockets. So it may be that they need to actually put up an upfront cost that they wouldn't have wanted to do, but it will mean that they save thousands on having to get a new boiler installed in the next 12 months, which is when they're going to really be tightening their belts. This is an interesting one that Colin talks about quite regularly, don't you, Colin, in terms of, don't race to the bottom. People, it's just in human nature to not want to overprice yourself on a job. But actually the importance is if you explain to the homeowner from the very, very beginning the value of your quotation, and if you're recommending a flush and a filter and somebody else isn't, and their work appears to be cheaper, that's because actually you're going to give more of a quality job. So that's right, isn't it, Carl? That's what you talk to people in your training sessions a lot about.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you know, what we have to do, guys, we've obviously given you those extra tools now to maybe show that why we need to do those extra things to the system. If we don't get to the root cause, get that sludge out, we're going to have problems a few months down the line. So if the customer can understand what's happening and how you are going to go about it, trust me, you are going to be top of their list.
Yeah, thanks. So use the tools that we've got available, helping people to really understand the invisible problem that is in their home, that's getting to their boiler parts, that's causing it to repeatedly break down, or them having to have replacement parts. Then kind of making that visible to them is a great advantage for you. And then we've just given you a taster about investigating new ways to help build kind of the recurring revenue and to make your customers as sticky as possible with you. So do get in touch with sales.support@adey.com if you're wanting to find out some more information about that. Right, well that's everything that we've got from here, but we do have a little thank you for everybody who's taken part in joining us for the webinar today. So our team will be contacting you to get out to use some of those starter tools, some consumer leaflets that you can use to help talk to the homeowner about the problem that is sludge in the system, a turbidity tube for you to be able to get the water out there for, and also our ADEY rapid test stick. So if you're not used to using these tools, hopefully this will give you an opportunity to start doing so. And also, I said before about the fact that everybody will really be going online as the first place now that everybody's wanting to go to search for advice, to search for what to do in these situations where something breaks down. So we've hooked up with a really key agency to be able to provide you with a great consumer blog. Now you can use this within your Facebook pages, you can use this on your website, you can even use this to send out as an attachment to your customers should you wish, just to keep in contact with them and to help them to kind of just make sure that they're keeping the longer life of their boiler system. Okay, so I think that's it.